There is a story the church never tells. Beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, 9 knights dug in silence, no witnesses, no records, no permission. When they emerged years later, they were rich beyond reason and powerful beyond logic. Some say they found gold. Others whisper of ancient scrolls. But the few who aren't supposed to speak, they suggest something far more dangerous. A lineage, a bloodline, one that could shake the very foundations of Christian history, if ever confirmed. Because if Jesus had descendants and the Templars found them, then everything changes. So let's step quietly now. Not into legend or fantasy, but into the fragile corridors of history, where faded scrolls, carved stones, and forgotten ruins might hold answers. This isn't just a story about knights. It's a story about legacy, and what happens when those sworn to protect it vanish. The Knights Templar were not born in myth, but they certainly died in it. Officially formed in 1119 to protect pilgrims in the Holy Land, these warrior monks rapidly evolved into one of the most powerful institutions in medieval Europe. But beneath the armor and piety, a stranger thread runs, one that leads back to the earliest days of Christianity, and perhaps even further. Their headquarters stood atop the ruins of Solomon's Temple. Their symbols hinted at secrets buried below, and for centuries rumors swirled that their true mission was never about guarding roads, but about guarding blood. Sacred blood. Blood that may have passed from Christ himself. Tonight we explore that possibility, step by step, fact by fragile fact. Before we venture further into the shadows, take a moment to subscribe so you never miss a secret that history has tried to forget. You can almost feel the heat rising off the stone even now. The year is 1119, and Jerusalem is no longer a battlefield, but it is far from peaceful. Just 2 decades after the First Crusade carved a Christian kingdom out of the Levant, the Holy City is still riddled with tension. Pilgrims arrive in droves seeking salvation or penance, but outside the walls, bandits and remnants of resistance wait with swords drawn. In this fragile equilibrium, 9 men arrive not in shining armor, but with a purpose cloaked in mystery. They are knights, yes, but not like the others. They call themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. It's a bit of a mouthful even for the Middle Ages, so the world quickly shortens it to something simpler, the Knights Templar. Officially, their mission is humble. They intend to protect pilgrims making the treacherous journey to Jerusalem. But here's the curious part. For the first 9 years, these knights take no new recruits. They fight no major battles. They live in near secrecy. And most strangely, they reside in a set of quarters given to them by King Baldwin II. Rooms built atop the ruins of the ancient Jewish temple, known then as the Al-Aqsa Mosque. You may wonder why there, of all the places in the city, why station a new order of knights on top of one of the holiest and most symbolically fraught pieces of land in the world. The traditional answer is political convenience. The king had no better place. But there's another version, one that has been whispered, debated, and dismissed for centuries. According to this version, the Templars were not merely guarding pilgrims. They were sent to retrieve something, or perhaps someone. Historical records from this period are sparse, but what survives tells us that the founding members were not just soldiers. Many came from families tied to esoteric Christian traditions, nobility with ties to old Merovingian legends, strange interpretations of the gospel, and a near obsession with relics. Hugues de Payens, the first Grand Master, had extensive connections in France and the Holy Land, and some believe he had prior dealings with certain Eastern Christian sects groups who viewed Jesus not as a distant divinity, but as a man who walked married and fathered children. That alone would get you excommunicated in most circles. Still, it's worth asking why 9 knights with no known funding, no clear battle record, and no real political backing were immediately given prime real estate over the Temple Mount, and why they were then left alone to do whatever it was they did. Modern historians sometimes roll their eyes at this part. The idea of the Templars as early archaeologists or clandestine treasure hunters feels romantic at best, conspiratorial at worst. But there's one documented fact that makes even the skeptics pause. In 1129, just 10 years after their formation, the Council of Troyes grants the Templars official sanction. Not just that, but they're suddenly flush with resources, land, and papal privileges that rival those of kings. Their rise is dizzying and oddly timed. What could they have uncovered in that first decade to earn such swift elevation? One obscure chronicle from the 12th century claims the knights found objects of great import beneath the sacred mount. It doesn't say what, but a later document attributed to the mysterious Order of Sion mentions scrolls written in Aramaic that described the lineage of the Nazarene king. That phrase alone has fueled centuries of speculation. Was it a reference to Jesus, or someone descended from him? Of course, the Vatican has long dismissed these tales as heretical folklore, and yet, it never seems to destroy the documents entirely. Instead, they disappear into archives, into vaults. You're left with fragments, letters that hint at discoveries in hollow places, carvings that bear symbols predating Christianity, yet found within Templar churches, and a strange consistency in Templar architecture, especially the recurring motif of 2 men riding a single horse. Unity, brotherhood, or perhaps duality, 2 natures in one being, one holy and one mortal. It's subtle, almost poetic, and also potentially blasphemous depending on how you read it. Scholars still argue over whether the Templars' original mission had any esoteric undertones. Some say it was pure coincidence. Others believe the original 9 knights were part of an elite lineage themselves, descendants of families who had preserved secret gospels since the days of Rome, quietly waiting for the chance to return to the source, to find proof. If so, the road to Jerusalem was not a military campaign. It was a pilgrimage of blood, a quest not